You are embarking on an adventure through musical time, and this journey will be more pleasurable if you first become familiar with some basic musical concepts. Keep in mind that most new experiences require some initial adjustment and insight. The process is similar to visiting a distant country for the first time. You are instantly immersed in a different culture and surrounded by people who speak an unusual language or follow unfamiliar customs. If you were not prepared for this journey, your naive responses and actions might bring you embarrassment or instill the anger of others. Worst of all, you would get very little from a potentially rewarding experience. These new ideas will be introduced gradually, systematically, and actively. So for now, focus on learning the fundamental elements of music and their related terms. Listen carefully for this aspect in music you hear, and in time you will attain a heightened understanding that will open your ears, mind, and soul to the deeper levels of musical thought.
The rudiments of music are the most basic elements that one must know and understand in order to appreciate and perform music in a technically perceptive and proficient manner. It is certainly possible to enjoy music without the knowledge of the basics of music. But to understand the technical aspects of the music or to compose and perform music, it is generally necessary to have at least a basic understanding of them. Now, let us explore more on the rudiments of music. First up is rhythm. Rhythm can be defined as the arrangement of notes, rest or silences, and intensity of a song's progression. Musical rhythm is about the repetition or reoccurrence of notes and rest in time, as well as how long and with what intensity these notes and silences are played. At a broad level, rhythm is basically the same all around. It is always a pattern of occurrences within an activity, event, piece of art, or design. It is a basic building block of pattern and structure, but what differentiates music rhythm from other fields are its elements, which we are going to explain further from this discussion. Now let us proceed to the first element, which is duration. It is how long a sound or silence lasts. It refers to the length of sounds and silences in music and includes the aspects of beat, rhythm, meter, tempo, pulse rates, and the absence of pulse. Durations and their beginnings and endings may be described as long, short, or taking a specific amount of time. Often duration is described according to terms borrowed from descriptions of pitch. As such, the duration complement is the amount of different durations used, and duration scale is an ordering scale of those durations from shortest to longest. And durational patterns are the foreground details projected against a background metric structure which includes meter, tempo, and all rhythmic aspects which produce temporal regularity or structure. Duration patterns may be divided into rhythmic units and rhythmic gestures. And the next element is beat. It is the basic recurring unit of time in music. It is the essential part of structuring a song. A beat is the physical part of the music that makes us tap our toe, clap our hands, or move our body. Beats form the background against which a composer or musician plays notes of varying length. Expression is felt right away by rhythm. Just as one is aware of the body's steady pulse or heartbeat, so in composing, performing, or listening to music, one is aware of a periodic succession of beats. How we hear the beat can tell us if a piece of music is a march, a dance, a forceful, powerful gesture, or a gentle, flowing elegance. And now, let's listen to this piece of music and determine how beats work in music.
And now let's proceed to meter. Meter or metric is the measurement of a musical line into measures of stressed and unstressed beats, indicated in Western music notation by a symbol called a time signature. Properly, meter describes the entire concept of measuring rhythmic units, but it can also be used as a specific descriptor for a measurement of an individual piece as represented by the time signature. For example, 2-4 time, 3-4 time, 6-8 time, 12-8 time, 3-2 time, and so on. Standard Western music theory divides time signatures into three types of musical meter. Double meter, where beats appear in groups of two. Triple meter, where beats appear in groups of 3, and quadruple meter where beats appear in groups of 4. Meter is the type to note values. For instance, a triple meter could involve 3 half notes, 3 quarter notes, 3 eighth notes, 3 16th notes, 3 notes of any duration. Musicians and composers regularly mix double and triple meter in their work. Igor Stravinsky's The Right Offspring is a textbook example of such a technique. Examples of the songs where you can see meters are The Stars and Stripes Forever in 1896, written by Jean-Philippe Sousa, is in a simple double meter. Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart's Minute in F major is in a simple triple meter. The song Cake by Florida is in a simple quadruple meter. Next is tempo. Tempo is the speed at which your musical piece is playing. Musicians play around with tempos to convey a certain feeling of excitement, sorrow, fear, etc. That's why most sad songs have slow rhythms and most energetic songs are fast-going. The tempo is measured in BPM, which is short for beats per minute. So for example, if you treat your watch sticks as a musical piece, you can count 60 beats per minute, and that's the tempo of the so-called music. The lower the beats per minute, the slower the song will be, because the tempo will be slower. Examples of the songs where you can recognize tempo are Leron Leron Sinta is a song by Lea Salonga with a slow tempo of 100 beats per minute. It can also be used double time at 200 beats per minute, means very fast. Bakay Kobo is a song by the Grail Singers with a tempo of 157 beats per minute. It can also be used half time at 79 beats per minute or double time at 314 beats per minute. And the syncopation. Syncopation occurs when different rhythms are played simultaneously to generate offbeat musical compositions. In other words, it's an interruption or disturbance in the regular flow of rhythm to create character and variety to a composition. Syncopation appears in almost every type of music genre available, from traditional jazz to popular hip-hop. By adding groove, variation, and character to otherwise dull rhythms, syncopation induces the desire to dance, bob our heads, and sing along to the music. Moreover, syncopation adds life to music. It gives musical artists the freedom to express their emotions. Examples of the music where you can recognize syncopation. One example of syncopation is even note backbeat syncopation, in which the typical metric pattern in 4/4 is reversed. This is achieved by accenting the typically weak even beats 2 and 4 while omitting or weakening the typically strong beats 1 and 3. This type is extremely common in popular music, and a specific example can be found in the Marvelettes' Please Mr. Postman. An example of offbeat syncopation is found in the stomp clap routine used accompanied by the song We Will Rock You, as the strong claps of each measure are placed in beats 2 and 4.
Okay, now let's proceed to dynamics. Dynamics refers to the volume of a sound or note. The term is also applied to written or printed musical notation used to indicate dynamics. Dynamics are also relative and do not refer to specific volume levels. So, traditionally, dynamic markings are based on Italian words, although there is nothing wrong with simply writing things like quietly or louder in a music. So, forte means loud and piano means soft. The instrument commonly called the piano, by the way, and was originally called a pianoforte because it could play dynamics, unlike earlier popular keyboard instruments such as the harpsichord and spinet. So in dynamic markings, there are two main dynamic levels, and these are the P or piano, which means soft, F or forte means loud. In dynamic, there is also two subtle degree of loudness and softness, and these are MP, standing for mezzo piano, which means moderately soft, MF, standing for mezzo forte, means moderately loud. And lastly, B and F and P, there are also PP, which stand for pianissimo and means very soft. FF, which stand for fortissimo and means very loud.
Dynamic changes. To gradually change, the dynamic composer used crescendo and diminuendo. Diminuendo is also called this crescendo. Common accents. Accents are markers that are used to indicate especially strong sounded notes. There are a few different types of written accents, but like dynamics, the proper way to perform a given accent also depends on the instrument playing it, as well as the style and period of the music. But is forzando and fortepiano type accents are usually louder and longer, and more likely to be used in a long note that start loudly and then suddenly get much softer. Chord type accents are more likely to be used to mark shorter notes that should be stronger than unmarked notes.
Now, let's tackle what is melody, pitch, theme, conjunct, and disconjunct of music. Melody is a sequence of musical notes that are repeated multiple times and are usually the most memorable parts of the song. For example, when you sing or play a happy birthday song, it's still the same melody. The way that the main phrases are sung in happy birthday remains the same since the melodic line is passed from one person to another. Next, what is pitch? Pitch is a term used to describe how high or low the sounds are. The example will be shown at the picture, and as you have observed, there is a lower note and a higher note, or a lower pitch and a higher pitch. Did you understand? Now, what is a theme in music? So, theme in music is a short and a simple tune repeated throughout a piece of music. Or in simple terms, the theme is the foundation of any musical composition. The theme in music is the first melody you hear. Its main aim is to set the tone for the rest of the composition. It's what known as the main melody and is repeated from the beginning to the end. Or in general, the theme is the original melody. Did you understand?
A melody that rises and falls slowly, with only small pitch changes, with one note and the next is conjunct. One may also speak of a such melody in terms of stepwise or scalar motion, since most of the intervals in a melody are half or whole steps or are part of a scale. A melody that rises and falls quickly, with large intervals between one note and the next, is a disjunct melody. One may also speak of leaps in a melody. Many melodies are mixtures of conjunct and disjunct motion. A melody may show conjunct motion with small changes in pitch from one note to the next, or disjunct motion with large leaps. Many melodies are uninteresting, fairly balanced mixtures of conjunct and disjunct motion.
In music, harmony is the process by which individual sounds are joined together or composed into whole units or compositions. Often, the term harmony refers to simultaneously occurring frequencies, pitches, like tones, notes, or chords. However, harmony is generally understood to involve both vertical harmony or chords and horizontal harmony or melody.
Harmony in art overall is achieved when the elements of an artwork come together in a unified way. Let's take a look at Monet's painting. The title is The Japanese Bridge, the Water Lily Pond. Monet's painting demonstrates harmony in color with mostly greens and blues. Analogous colors are groups of three colors that are next to each other on the color wheel. Analogous colors create a rich monochromatic look. Green and blue are examples of analogous colors. Notice that this painting has a serene environment. It has harmony throughout the composition. Monet was a passionate horticulturist. He purchased land with a pond in his property, intending to build something for the pleasure of the eye and also motifs to paint.
A chord in music is any harmonic set of pitches or frequencies consisting of multiple notes, also called as pitches, that are heard as if sounding simultaneously. Progression is the logical movement from one chord to another to create a structural foundation and movement of a work in Western classical music.
Consonant harmonies are a combination of pitches in a chord which are agreeable and easy to listen to and make pleasing sounds. Dissonant harmonies are a combination of pitches in a chord which are relatively harsh and grating. K is a system of functionally related chords deriving from the major and minor scales with a central note called the tonic, or the K note. Tonality refers to the particular system of relationship between notes, chords, and keys, or a set of notes and chords.
Hi everyone, this is 1 minute lesson video for tone color. Tone color, also known as timbre, is a quality of a sound that is not characterized a frequency, duration, or amplitude. Generally speaking, tone color allows us listener to identify a sound as being produced by a specific instrument and to differentiate between instruments of the same type. When we are describing a sound tone, we used words like sharp, round, reedy, brassy, or bright to describe them. So now let's correlate tone color to flavor. Think of an apples. They are a type of fruit that has a typical shape, color, and flavor. But inside a category of apples, there are huge amount of variation. Some apples are sweet, while others are sour. Some are red, while others are green. They're still apples, but each one with the distinct characteristics. Red or delicious is different from green or different from pink. Even when describing one type, there might be a variation from apple to apple. Same thing goes to sound sources. One category of tone color we use quite often is string. Inside the string family, we have
Violins, violas, cellos, and double bass.
they have similar tones in some ways, but each one is a distinct. When comparing two different violins, one might have a very bright sound, while other one is more muted and dark. Even when playing one violin, we can produce different tone color or timbre. Hear this. We can hear different tone colors by bowing a different way. That's today's video. Thank you for watching. Bye.